Hey guys, and welcome to a new series on my channel. Recently I asked you guys whether or not you'd be interested in seeing a palette a day series. A couple of you did say you'd be interested in seeing that series testing all of the indie brand eyeshadow palettes that I have in my collection, and these are brand new to me. I made it kind of a mission in my personal life to support more independent brands and get more into indie eyeshadow brands. So I have been hauling a bunch. I've got a bunch of different indie brand haul shadow videos on my channel. I think there's 4 installments, and I will be trying to link those in the description box in case you guys are interested in checking them out and you haven't already. But I have 45 palettes that I have not tested, I have not put on my eyes. I have swatched most of these in the haul video, but in these videos I am going to fully swatch all of the palettes before we do one look. Not all of these palettes are still available. I noticed that after hauling them, some of them sell out. That's how indie brand shadows go. But in case some of them do come back in stock, and in case you guys have these palettes in your current collection and are interested in seeing a look, I am going to include all of the palettes that I hauled, regardless of whether or not they are still available. I am just picking the palettes that are really calling to me the day that I come up here to film these videos. And if you are interested in me doing a look with any one of those next, please leave it in the comments below. If you guys aren't currently subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe. You guys, let's get into it. Today we're going to be doing the Druid palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. I have purchased 2 palettes from Fantasy Cosmetica, but I haven't tried either of them, so this will be my first one. We're still doing the fall themed palettes. I thought this one fit really well into the fall themes because it's greens and browns, and I thought we would do a green look today. I'm feeling the greens in this palette more than the 2 that are more browny. This one has even like a little bit of red to it. And after this, there are 5 more what I would consider fall themed palettes before I move on into the things that are a little bit more cool toned and winter themed in my personal opinion. So anyway, let's get to swatching this. I'm pretty sure the look that I want to do, but I'm never sure what shimmer I want to do, and especially because a lot of these shimmers change like once you get them swatched out when they're duochromes and multi-chromes. So the Druid palette is still available for sale. They are doing their Black Friday sale beginning on the 24th of November. I don't know when this video is going to be up and how long it's going to be lasting. It doesn't exactly say, but the Druid palette normally retails for $35.99 and right now it's $25.19. They do have like the other palettes in the series, the Bard, the Warlock, the Fighter, the Rogue, the Sorcerer, the Wizard. Like they have a lot that come what I would consider from the series, and they're all retailing from $21.59 all the way up to the highest, which is $25.19. Pardon me, the Druid palette is $27.29 when I clicked on it. Druid loves nature and drawing their magical abilities from the world around them. They work to preserve the balance of nature and encourage other humanoids to live with the world around them instead of fighting against them. Druids also have the ability to transform into animals that they're familiar with. So it looks like there's like a theme in every one of these. It does have 9 pigmented shades, including 4 mattes, 1 metallic, 2 duochromes, and 2 trichromes. Okay, I don't know what that means. Does that mean multi-chrome? They're just calling it a trichrome, I guess is what it is. I am able to tell what the formula is in each of these shades. All right, let's get to swatching this out. This first one is called Root, which is a matte neutral brown. I think the neutrality here is like that there's a little bit of red in it, especially in the other shade that's even more kind of burgundy looking, but still brown. It's a deeper shade, but it's not overly pigmented or overly saturated. All right, this one, Balance, is a trichrome. Pink, green, and blue translucent sparkles. Yeah, okay. It looked like it had kind of a better base on my finger swatch before I swatched it out on my hand. But yeah, it's mostly translucent. It just has like different color sparkles. Maybe that's what they mean by trichrome and not necessarily like a flippy multi-chrome. I'm not familiar with trichrome. All right, Forest here is a matte dark forest green, just like it sounds. Again, see how not super pigmented these are? They're a little bit more kind of desaturated. I use that word so often. When you swatch them and they just look more diffused, they're just not super intense. All right, the next one is Bare Form, a metallic mid-tone brown with golden undertones. I totally see that. And very smooth, super duper smooth. It's mostly just light reflecting metallic. That's what that is. I love this shade, Serenity. It's a duochrome. Ooh, golden green with a darker blue based green flip. Okay, that's a lot going on there. I really like that one. All of these shimmers are immensely smooth. You guys watching this who've tried the Fantasy Cosmetica formula, you like have to tell me in the comments below what you think of their formulations. Because some of their palettes are so good looking. It's just that usually when I am unfamiliar with a brand, I'll go and I'll pick like 2 palettes if it's my first time trying the formula. All right, Sage is a matte mid-tone yellowy green. Ooh, that one's a fun one. I think we're gonna definitely use this one today. We're gonna use both of the greens today, pretty sure. I might actually like deepen up with the deepest brown burgundy shade in here. We'll see. Transformation is a trichrome, red to purple to forest green is what it says. This one is also, oh, this is delicious. It's so hard to see, but it has like a pink flip to it. Where can I get the pink to show up? In the mirror, the shade looks completely pink. There you go. You can kind of see it right there. It looks so different seeing it from this side than looking back on camera. Really pretty. Last shimmer is Regrowth, a duochrome, reddish pink base with a golden green flip. Ooh, why do I love this one too? Look at that red base, you guys. That's delicious. Oh, but it's not super flippy. Okay. It's not as cool as I thought it was gonna be. It has such a beautiful base to it. It's just mostly like sparkles. It's not like super flippy, just sparkly. Golden green flip. I don't really see a golden green flip. I don't know, it would be so cool if that transformation shade and this one were like married together. You know, that you had like the flip of this one with the base of this one would be great. All right, this last one is Old Growth. It's a matte dark red leaning purple. Okay, I kept calling it like a brown leaning red. There it is there. Leaning purple. Okay, yeah, I buy it 100%. There is the full color story there. I think these shades are just gonna diffuse out so beautifully because they're not super intense on the swatch. All of the shades have a little bit of desaturation in them, I think. I definitely think I want to go for the darker green, then diffuse it out with this color. And I wanted to do Serenity, but I don't know, we might end up doing this shimmer right here, which is the transformation one, because this one just didn't flip enough, and I think this is really pretty to maybe make some dimension between the greens. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, although this is gorgeous too if it was laid over something. Just the number of different colors in it is really gorgeous. So I don't know. I'm still debating on the particular shimmer, but let's get these mattes on and start this look. All right, I don't know if I have the right brushes for what I'm attempting to do, but I'm using the brushes that are in front of me. So I'm going to start with this shade Forest and really just place it in the outer corner because I want to buff it out with this Sage shade like everywhere else. And then again, just like deciding which shimmer looks best with it once we get there. So we're gonna start with the deepest matte in the outer corner, so let's do it. So let's use this M06 brush from Gloss Gods, which is kind of like a packer brush, I think. And I'm seeing how well I can pack this up in the outer corner. Already this is looking a little blue-green, and I was hoping that it was a deeper green. So we may go in, ooh, this is pigmented, more pigmented than I thought. We may go into that reddish, like almost purplish brown in the outer corner. I'm doing a very similar look to, or style, as how I did my last palette a day video. I loved the way that that turned out that I want to try it again. It's so hard to like get more creative with eye looks if you're just kind of used to doing the same thing over and over again. But also if you're not adding in like jewels or graphic liners or anyway. I think I went in a little too far on that one, but that's okay. Let's just leave it there. Yeah, this is definitely a little blue-green and it's sticking. It's not like blending out. It's definitely staying where I'm placing it. All right, let's go into Sage on a clean brush and really buff out the edges and bring this inward. And that's essentially kind of all I'm doing is just trying to blend these two shades together and keep that outer corner nice and deep. Well, outer corner on the bottom nice and deep. And then we'll clean it up. I want this to be so beautiful. I want these to blend so perfectly because the color story on this is just gorgeous. I'm thinking that looks okay. We might go back in and deepen the outer corner again at some point, but doing the same thing to this eye. Yeah, a couple of noticeable things at this point. The forest shade is coming out way more blue-green. I was hoping it was going to be like a really deep foresty green, just like the name kind of implies. But here it is. It definitely has some teal in it, some blue pigments in it. And the second thing is, it is diffusing out quite a bit as I am trying to layer a shade on top of it, which is okay, but maybe it's diffusing out a little bit more than I like personally. Those are just kind of like the two things that I note at the current moment. I honestly don't think I want to like deepen this forest shade at all. I think I want to go into Old Regrowth, which is that like almost purpley shade, to deepen the bottom, just like the bottom part. Don't really go too high above it. And then maybe buff this out. The blue-green, I don't know if that's exactly what I was feeling. I was feeling a little bit of a darker green look, but honestly, I think it's okay to layer them. All right, I'm gonna take the same brush and just buff it out. Just kind of blend the edges. Okay, this is the flippiest shade, so this is the one that I want to use. It's the Transformation one. It's this one in the corner, and I think this one was just listed as a duochrome. No, this one was the trichrome, one of the trichromes. It doesn't have the biggest base, but what it does have is brown and green, so it ties the look a little bit together if I end up going back in to the bottom part here and adding more brown. So I'm taking this above the crease because I want it to pop. I am now going in with a wet brush to see if I can't get this to be a little bit more intense. I mean, usually the finger will do it. Okay, this has like an amazing brown base to it. It's like a light brown, but it's still like noticeable and gorgeous. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is so pretty. Okay, now I'm glad I went with this shimmer. I love this green to brown with a brown base. Gorgeous. I'm gonna go back into Old Regrowth, see if I can't use that shade to marry these two together and like deepen it up from that teal green a little bit. I'm going back into Sage and bringing it a little bit more in the inner corner the way that I did on the other side. I just like this light green to really diffuse out. All right, now I'm gonna cut the edges and see how I like it. Now I feel like I'm spending an awful lot of time trying to make these freaking sides match. The blue green was not my favorite at all. I was definitely struggling with the fact that I didn't anticipate that shade being a little bit more blue green when it got to me, because even when I'm like swatching it out, it looks more green than I feel like it looked when I actually applied it. And so I was like struggling with the fact that I was like, oh, this is not at all kind of what I envisioned. A little bit too much blue, and I wanted something a little bit deeper green. So now I'm just like adding more of that brown shade, and then I ended up taking it a little bit high and blah blah blah, and not at all what I kind of envisioned, which was keeping the deeper shade on the lower lid and then like diffusing it out with the lighter one. The two colors, honestly, they didn't blend together the greatest. It's not exactly the two colors that I would have picked putting together. I actually think it came out okay, but it's such my standard eye look, and honestly, it went higher than I was hoping for, but that's okay. Sometimes those green shades though, like that's what happens. When you start getting them to the eye, sometimes they end up pulling like a different color. I've had that happen to me in the past, but I do want to do something on the lower lashes. So let me go throw some lashes on. Let me go throw my foundation on, and then we'll be right back. Okay, you guys, we are back. Let's finish this eye look. I know exactly what I want to do. I'm gonna take Old Growth really close to the lower lash line, and then I'm gonna smoke it out with Sage. I liked this color. I don't want to go back into that green is basically what I'm getting at. It's just a hard no for me. It was just a little bit too teal. I'm taking a pretty thin brush and going all the way across the lower lash line. Oh, and I did tight line with a black liner in the upper waterline, and I totally forgot to tight line just now with a brown that I wanted to do in the lower waterline. So I think that's pretty much it on this Old Growth shade. Let's take a brown in the waterline, something dark. Okay, I think that's good. Something a little bit more fluffy, but still pointy. Let's go into Sage and buff this old time shade out. I keep wanting to say old timey. That's literally what I want to keep calling it. Old Growth shade. Just move the table, Carrie. Good job. My husband literally just belched so loud just now, you guys. Downstairs. And the camera, I will edit it out, but the camera will pick up that sound. I'm sure you guys don't want to hear that. Okay, Carrie, you gotta make these sides match. I took the green a little bit farther down on the right side. And then I went like tighter with the red on the left eye. Brownie red, I guess. My house has the craziest sounds coming out of it. All right, Ami Collet mascara. I don't even know what this is called. The lash amplifying mascara is what it's called. Holy bonkers. I've never done this mascara on the bottom. It's a really thick volumizing mascara, and usually I go for length on the lower lashes rather than volume, and I decided that since I did this on the upper lid, upper lashes, that I was gonna use this on the lower lashes. Really, actually, I've been like liking a little bit more volume on the lower lashes in the last month or so. So I pretty much have been just using anything, but boy, this is a chunky mascara. I like it because it's chunky, but I might not like it for the lower lashes. It definitely made a bit of a mess here. Holy smokes, you guys. It's just so messy. So thick. All right, you guys, dare I take that translucent shade in the inner corner which is the first shimmer that we swatched. This one right here. It is a green to brown flip, but it's like on the sparkly side. Ooh, yeah, it's intense. I mean, great if you like a sparkly inner corner shade, but I actually like something that's a little bit more light reflective. I've been noticing like the sparkly inner corner shades, for whatever reason, I don't love the way they look, but I don't hate that shade. I actually think that looks pretty flattering. All right, here are my final thoughts on the palette. Overall, I liked it. Overall, I still feel like I'm going to need more time to play with this to really get a better sense of how I feel about it. There's a couple of things that I noticed. Okay, this didn't come out the color that I wanted to, so it immediately went in a different direction when I was putting the eye look together. And that kind of screwed my whole like thought up initially, because I thought, oh, I'm just gonna be using greens. Like it's going to be an entirely green look. We're gonna use this, we're gonna diffuse with this one. And I shifted to end up using this one and more of a browny green shift shimmer, where I was kind of thinking I might stick with like a totally green shimmer and just make this, yeah, a green look, like a deeper green look. So that threw me off. I don't love when colors look different in pans, especially the mattes, and they come out looking different on the eyes. That always kind of bothers me, but I understand there's like a lot of variations in shades like this, especially when you're formulating pigmentations. Okay, I get it. That's not my expertise, but it always, as an end user, makes me go, ooh, yeah, okay. That was a little bit harder than I thought it was gonna end up being. So anyway, those are my initial thoughts there. Now, I didn't love the way they blend together either. In my experience, when you're using a shade like this and you're diffusing it out with a shade like this, it has to hold its pigment, otherwise it's not blending together well. And so when I start to take a different brush to diffuse a shade out like this on top of this one started to become patchy. This was just dissipating. It was kind of fading away. It was starting to become patchy. They were not blending together as easily as some shadows in my collection do. I mean, like really truly laying one shade on top of the other, and I'm blending and I'm done. This one made me work for it. This shade was not my absolute favorite. Now, because I ended up using these two shades out of a 4 matte shaded palette, I liked both of these. When I was using these on top of this one, they were blending together much nicer. This also might be a pressed pigment. I can't even tell you. Oh yeah, it's a whole pigment palette. So anyway, sometimes the pressed pigments in certain shades, certain greens, for example, can do this. Deep purples will do this to me, where I just have a harder time with it. One thing I absolutely love is that the tones of the shimmers match the mattes perfectly. You're not throwing anything in here that doesn't make sense. Even with your trichrome, it shifts green to brown. So if you use the green to brown shades together, that's a great one. You can do just green or just brown or just copper, or you have a translucent one that's a green-brown shift. So every one of these shimmers is complementary to every one of the mattes. That I love, especially in a 9-pan palette. But also I say in 9-pan palettes that I don't want any repeat matte shades especially, and this one is so much different than this one. It's like almost a red purple brown. So if you wanted just like a totally neutral brown look instead of going a little bit more ruddy or a little bit more purple, I think you have that option. So there's no repeats there. I'm happy that nothing was repeated. I did not love the green shade, essentially, is like what I'm getting at. The green shade was just a disappointment because it turned out too blue and too teal looking on my eyes, but everything else was good. Also, this trichrome is stunning. You get like the brown here, then, oh, there it goes. It actually flips. Really, really pretty shimmer formula overall. And I didn't mind the translucent duochrome in the middle. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the Fantasy Cosmetic formula. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Like I said, I still have 4 or 5, what did I say, 5 more palettes to go in the fall themed arena. I happen to love browns and greens, so I had quite a bit in my collection that were brand new to me for this series to do for my fall themed palettes. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying, and I hope you guys stick around for those palettes. I'm out of here for today, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.